Thank you for your concern, everybody. Don't you think I know I need a haircut? Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 8 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're away against Bradford and then at home against Carlisle, both in League 2. Since you were last with me, things have been going really rather well, apart from the little blip we had there losing against Notts County. That aside, we're in some rather good form. Well, I'm actually looking at that. Not won in the league for 3 games, though. But we did manage to knock Plymouth out of... Not knock them out. The Checker Trade Trophy confuses me with this group stage nonsense. Now, we didn't knock them out at all, but we did beat them and make our way through to the next round. They could well join us. Quite frankly, who cares? But we beat them on penalties. And why can't I click on anything? And a debut was made by new signing. I don't remember if I showed him to you. Horatio Hurst, who came in on a free transfer right at the end of the summer. I might have shown him to you, but he was a bit of a non-league goal-scoring superstar in the Dean Rittenberg mould. But when we couldn't get Rittenberg because we didn't get a scout report in time, we decided to go for Hurst instead. Rittenberg, kind of club didn't get him now. 0 goals from 10 appearances back in the National League South for Bath, who did get relegated last year. Just absolutely destroyed. How are they doing in the league at the moment? Oh, poor old Bath. All that hard work we did, all counts for nothing. But anyway, this is the team that we're putting out there today against Bradford. My hair really is awful. I know it's awful. The best comment about it was that it's a 90s Hugh Grant hairstyle. It's just too long and is gradually falling into the centre parting that I had when I was about 14 before I shaved it all off. Barbers are busy at this time of year. I'll go soon. So, this is the team. We've got Hudson in goal, a back four of Ruffles, Knott, Edwards and Alcock, with Rodriguez, Edser and Morrill in midfield, and Blackmore in behind Tuazi and Cullen. Injury-wise... Where are we? James Justin is still injured, which is why Alcock still plays in the team, despite being nearly as old as I am, and not really being signed with an intention of playing him week in and week out. He's played pretty much every game for us so far, and absolutely not let us down, able to play left back, right back, or centre back. We've not had to use him at centre back yet, which is just as well, because he's about 4'8", but he's a rather useful fullback on either side. Right, let's get into this game. Let's go beat Bradford. We are joint top of the league at the moment with Notts County, the team that beat us. That's why we're not fully top, because those rascals beat us. But if we can get a decent result against Bradford today, we could move ourselves back into position at the top of the league. And in fact, it looks like Notts County have gone behind in their game, because we have drifted up to the top of the league already without even scoring a goal. So a goal at this point would be rather pleasant, just to cement our spot there and start to establish ourselves as proper promotion contenders. Remember, in League 2, 3 teams get automatic promotion and then another 4 make it into the playoffs. So, in theory, with the start we've had, we should be all right for promotion. We're only a quarter of the way into the season, but we're already nicely established. Then you look at the top of the league and you think, hang on, the top 6 teams in that league are all level on 22 points. And apparently, we're now all going to be beating each other. So, I mean, this is... what a sloppy goal to concede. That's just silly. We are going to struggle with the fact that we don't have a proper goalkeeper, I think. It was the big missing part of the summer transfer business was not being able to replace Clint, who, last time I checked, still didn't have a club. So we will absolutely be trying to bring him back in again in January if he still hasn't found a club, especially if we're looking like we're on a promotion push. If we can get him back in goal, I think he'll be a massive difference maker. But now Crawley, from nowhere, have pushed themselves up to the top of the league. I don't even remember where they were pre-match, but we need to get ourselves back into this. Morrill out to Cullen, to Alcock, who plays it into Blackmore, back to Edser. We're playing some nice football, knocking it around nicely. Tuazi, what a goal from Tuazi. He only scores 2 types of goals. He scores headers and he scores absolute screamers. It's just ridiculous, the ability that he's got to do this. So just knock it all around nicely. He's finding himself a nice little pocket of space where it can be laid onto him and he can just hit it first time, smash it into the top corner, then do a chicken dance. We've seen him do all of those things before, with the possible exception of the chicken dance, but I don't think it was out of place in the circumstances. And now we need to go and find a way to get ourselves in lead before half-time, because looking at the stats, we are in control of the game, and Bradford were mugging us a little bit beforehand. I mean, he says we're in control. Neither team has had a clear-cut chance or even a half chance yet, but we've had way more of the possession and more shots. So, to me, that means we're winning. And Cullen, was that a miss? I thought that must have been a save or something, but that was a spectacular miss from Cullen, who is scoring at more than a goal a game at the moment so far this season, and is still able to miss chances like that. The world confuses me sometimes. So, 1-1 at half-time. No need to make any changes. Let's not get drastic. We've dropped down to third now, with Notts County presumably drawing level in their game. Which we could put. I mean, we don't need to get bogged down in what other teams are doing at this stage. But now Crawley have dropped back below us again. And it's pretty much where it was at kickoff. I think everyone's gone level in their games again. So now we're back in a situation where we want to grab a winner. Let's grab a winner, push ourselves to the top of the league and celebrate and go into the next game knowing that we're absolute heroes. I set this team up last night and I don't remember. Oh, we are doing counter-attacking. That's all right then, as we're away from home. Because away from home, we are still a little bit iffy and a little bit inconsistent. So we are still doing the counter-attacking away from home. We might tweak it, though. I don't know. I guess a draw away against Bradford is a good result. Bradford were around the playoffs before the game started. They're down to 8th as it stands. But I guess if we go to Bradford and draw 1-1, it's not the worst result in the world. But then part of me thinks, stick it up to standard for the last 20 minutes. What's the harm? I'd always rather I can't play for a draw. I just can't bring myself to do it. Right, Ruffles. We haven't got a fullback on the bench. That's problematic. Not playing well. What's the point of taking off a defender, though? Cullen can come off for Owen James, who there was some chat in the comments yesterday. Apparently Owen James becomes an absolute superstar as he develops, so we need to give him some game time. So he's going to get exactly that alongside Tuazi. We're also going to bring on James Cragen for Rodriguez and just swap those two over in midfield, and that will do for now. We'll save that final substitution because although Nott's not playing very well, Edwards is struggling for fitness, and now our goalkeeper's taken a knock as well. What's wrong with him? A hand injury. He's only. What does he need a hand for? It's football, not handball. He'll be fine. And not after surviving the threat of substitution. Looks like he might have grabbed us a winner in the 85th minute to push us up to the top of the league. And I mean, it's a nice little finish actually. Cragen nods it down, and it's impressive from Cragen because Cragen's. He's of similar stature to Craig Alcock as far as I'm aware. They're both little fellas. And to nod it down to the big lad to poke it home, that'll do nicely. And I think we do find ourselves now top of the league with a game coming up against Carlisle, who are down in a relegation battle. So we could even, we'll say it quietly, could even open up a little bit of a gap. No changes for the Carlisle game then, other than the fact we've gone to a control mentality rather than the counter that we used away from home, because we were playing against a team who were good away from home. Now we're playing against a team who aren't very good and we're at home, so we should try and control that game. That's the theory. While we bed into it as well, we need to have a little chat. There's going to be a poll appearing up in the top corner. I don't ever know which side it is. Up in the top right hand corner, but I don't know which direction that is. One of those ways. Anytime now, oh, look at that goal from Blackmore. We'll get back to the poll in a minute. That was an absolute beauty. He looked like he was at full stretch and has somehow stuck that into the top corner 30 seconds into a match. That is quite ridiculous. We're in League 2. Goals like that shouldn't be happening, but I'll take it. What was I saying? Poll, yes. And it's a poll about backing the Borough. My other save, the save of Nuneaton, because... Blackmore doesn't want me to talk about Nuneaton. He must be a Tamworth fan. Are they Nuneaton's rivals? Or Leamington? Someone like that. Anyway, last week, when I pre-recorded everything and everything was, Cullen's going to make it 2-0. Can I talk about Nuneaton for a minute? Last week, when we were doing one episode a day and we were rotating the two, both series were getting roughly the same number of views for the first time, because up until then, this series was getting far more views than that one. And I just assumed it's because you preferred this one. But when we were rotating them last week, it wasn't a case of you all gave Nuneaton a try on the first day, still didn't like it and didn't bother going back. You were all still watching them both every time they came on. But this week, yesterday... And I know it's a bit early to judge off the back of one episode, on presumably the day a lot of people went back to work for the first time, so viewing time is restricted. I get that. But this this series yesterday got twice as many views as Back in the Borough again, just like it was before everything stopped for Christmas. So now I don't necessarily think it's because you prefer this series to that one, and I'm starting to come around to the school of thought that a lot of you have presented to me, that it might just be that 4 o'clock's a convenient time to watch a video, 9 o'clock not so much. And it does kind of fit that pattern because the weekend episodes of Back in the Borough get more views than the midweek ones at 9 o'clock. So, in light of that, the poll is asking you if there's a better time where I could release a second video each day than 9 p.m. This one, the main video each day, will still be out at 4 p.m. But I'm going to have a poll with a few different options asking you when might be a better time to release it. One of the options will be 10 o'clock, where we were doing the Advent series. I don't think it'll be 10 o'clock because people are at school and at work. But I'll also stick in some options like, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, just to perhaps put it a little bit earlier in the evening and allow you to watch it a little bit more. What I don't want to do is put it too close to Non-League to Legend and end up getting to the point where I'm butchering this series by only having it as the most recent video on the channel for like 2 hours a day, which is the reason there's quite a big gap between them at the moment, to give Non-League to Legend the opportunity for everyone to watch it before I go and throw something else at them. So let me know what you think. It might be, and the long-term outcome of this might be that 2 episodes a day of quite similar series is a little bit too much. And if that's the case, we'll perhaps look at, I don't know, make Back in the Borough the weekend series. This will be the weekday series, and the second video each day, if we continue doing a second video, could be something completely different. But it's all stuff that I'm thinking about at the moment. So have a vote in the poll. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll ask again in the Back in the Borough episode that I'm going to record in a little while as well, to make sure. I assume it's the same people watching both, but just in case there's some people who don't overlap, give them the opportunity to vote as well. But we are 2-1 up at half time. Let's get focused back in on this now. 2-1 up at half time. We had a decent first half. It was a shame that we let that goal sneak in at the end because Carlisle haven't really been in it at all. But we have let a few chances squeak by us. Although they've only had 44% possession and 3 shots, they have had 3 decent chances. 1 clear cut, 2 half chance. So we need to be aware of what's going on around us a little bit. I am thinking in terms of, right, at what point do we drop down to a standard mentality with a view to being on counter for the last 15-20 minutes of the game. It's something that I've always been dead set against doing in the past, but since 2018, it's the system of 2018. In fact, let's do it now. Since we've been in 2018, I fiddle with with mentality all the time. It's a delight. We should probably make some substitutions as well, though. Right, I still don't like that screen. So, Morrill seems to be a regular change, him coming off for Craigan. Might have to look into that as a more permanent situation. Let's actually have a look at Morrill. So Morrill is, he should be good at the role that he's playing, not having the best of seasons though. For a player in a team that's free scoring, top of the league in quite an attacking position, for him to be 0 goals, 1 assist and below 7 on his average rating after 11 games is a bit of a worry. Whereas James Craigan, let's have a look at him, he might not be any better, but he's not really had the opportunity. Okay, he's mainly come on as substitute, 4 starts, 7 substitute appearances, but in those same 11 games, 1 goal, 4 assists and averaging a 7.37. I think Craigan may well be our better option there, so that might be something that we have to fiddle with and have a little think about. I'm going to take off Tuazi and I'm going to switch Cullen to be a defensive forward and James to be a poacher, just to get them into their preferred positions, and we will drop down to counter-attacking now in light of the couple of changes that we've made. I want to see James start to score some goals. He was out, certainly before we started bringing in strikers, that month when we first arrived at Oxford before the transfer window last season, James did score a few goals for us. He did look decent, but I kind of just assumed he wouldn't be any good and didn't move him on, but moved him out of my thoughts. And I want to try and get him back in now if he's supposed to be quite good. Right, Connolly can come on for Knott for the last 10 minutes. The change I didn't make in the last game, but we will make it now. And that's why you don't make the change. And it is James who's going off. So there you go. Thus endeth the experiment of Owen James, because presumably that'll be an injury that puts him out to Christmas, and I will just forget he exists by then. He might have been good. Alas, we will never know, because we will probably never see him play again, because I will sign someone else in January, because we've all met me. I mean, it might just be a little knock, but if it's a little knock, why couldn't he stay on the pitch? Cullen, beautiful piece of control, lovely finish. That is a nice way to end the match. 3-1. We're a point clear at the top of the league after 13 games, but this is a beauty. Let's have a little look at this on the replay, because it's just an absolute hoof forward from Connolly. But look at the control from Cullen there. Gets in behind his man, brings it down on one foot, Cantona-esque, and just tucks it away into the far corner with his other foot. We're scoring goals that a League Two team should not be capable of scoring. And I know these are young Premier League youngsters who are here on loan, so they are going to have these special little moments. And I hope they keep happening as regularly as they are, because that's just ridiculous. We're scoring good goals. I like scoring good goals. Good goals, bad hair. That's the theme of the day. If you have enjoyed this episode, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos at 4 o'clock. And probably 9, depending on how the poll turns out. Maybe a different time. We'll see. I thank you very much for watching.